Eric Mandel is the founder and director of the Middle East Political Information Network, joining us all the way from Florida. So thank you for being with us. Look, the world really paying attention, fixated on what's happening right now between Israel and Iran, but to focus on the Middle East here for a minute. What's the region saying? How's the Middle East responding to this move by Israel and the response by Iran?
Israel has redrawn the strategic map in the Middle East. But I think the big concern is something that President Trump wrote on Truth Social, where he said that he wants this war to end already, which means Israel has a stopwatch going on right now, and it has to meet its strategic goals. And the strategic goal, as you guess, as Colonel Kemp has said, is to destroy their nuclear program. And what we believe is the key to the nuclear program, besides the spaced-out weaponization, is Fordow. And supposedly Israel does not have those bunker buster missiles. One possibility that's out of the box thinking is if they are enriching uranium to 60% there, if Israel did strike it, it doesn't have to destroy all of the mountainous facility. It could turn it into a dirty bomb and make it unusable. So a conventional strike might be able to destroy Fordow, but again, the world would turn against Israel if something like that happened. But if Israel says this is existential and Fordow is the key, that might be a last resort. I don't know if President Trump, with the influence that he has, would actually destroy Fordow unless American assets are attacked in the region. I think we realize at this point, and I hope the world realizes, is that Israel had to act now because its intelligence said that the weaponization of a warhead was only weeks from completion. And again, we already knew they had enrichment. We obviously know that they have the ballistic missiles to deliver them. And as Colonel Kemp said, if just one of those ballistic missiles had a nuclear warhead on it, then all bets are off. And they still can go in a Hiroshima-style type of bomb without being compartmentalized and weaponized that way. And
like a much lower bar, in other words, a lower tech device that they could still, in other words, cross the nuclear threshold with.
Right, or they can call their North Korean friends and have one put on a container ship and sent over if they feel desperate. Remember, the key here is they want to keep these religious fanatics who run the country want to survive, and regime change is really the ultimate answer that's here, although everybody's so afraid to say it. I think my country, if I was advising them, is to say, be pro-Iranian. That means pro-Iranian people. We've abandoned them too many times, from the Green Revolution up until the Freedom Movement. So that really should be, if we want stability in the Middle East, that's the way we need to go.
Well, and just to interrupt briefly, there's reports of fresh, renewed strikes in Tehran right now by the IDF, so we'll stay tuned on that. Like you touch, Eric, on the topic of regime change here, which is perhaps where most discussions end up leading. Then what do we make of these purported videos of Iranians cheering or celebrating this Israeli assault on their authoritarian regime?
We don't know. We get bits and pieces. I work with Iranian activists. I was on the leading Iranian dissident station, Iran International, within the last day or so. And there is no doubt, as best in an authoritarian regime, that you can get reliable polls. But we do believe that the Iranian people are the most pro-Western, pro-American people, other than obviously Israel in the region. But they're fearful. They're fearful they're going to be abandoned. And again, what happens here in the polarized American world is that if you ask for regime change, it's saying boots on the ground. America doesn't need to put boots on the ground. It needs rhetorically to say we're with the Iranian people. And there are lots of things we can do behind the scenes for the Iranian people. And that really is the direction where we should go. That is the biggest fear, and that would give us the greatest leverage. For many months, I said the best leverage for negotiations was a strike. Well, the best leverage going forward is the threat of regime change.
Eric Mandel, appreciate your time with us, coming just from the U.S. as well. Thank you for joining.
My pleasure.